Mahmoud Khalil is out on bail after spending over 3 months in U.S. detention. A federal judge ruled he is not a threat or a flight risk and ordered his release while immigration proceedings continue. Khalil was a leading figure in pro-Palestinian protests at the Columbia University. His March arrest sparked outrage with demonstrations in New York and Washington. The Trump administration had moved to deport him, arguing his activism undermined U.S. foreign policy. They later claimed he withheld information while applying for permanent residency. Judge Michael Fabiers questioned that justification, calling the government's actions highly unusual and possibly unconstitutional. Khalil graduated while in detention and his wife received his diploma. He missed the birth of his son during this time in custody. The White House insisted that the detention was legal and plans to appeal the decision. They maintain his presence could harm U.S. foreign policy interests, and Khalil is now home barred from international travel but free to advocate in Washington. He thanked supporters and said he's relieved to be reunited with his family. And after being released from the prison, let's listen in to what he had to say.
Trump and his administration, they chose the wrong person for this. That doesn't mean that there is a right person for this. There is no right person who should be detained for actually protesting a genocide, for protesting their university, Columbia University, that is investing in the genocide of the Palestinian people.
Mr. Raymond Vickery, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, is joining us from Washington, D.C. at this point in time. Mr. Vickery, it's great having you here. Well, the judge in this case has said that this is obviously unconstitutional. It is definitely illegal. And why the government acted in such a way is perhaps a mystery to this judge as well. What do you make of this bizarre detention and the fact that just protesting and your right to express and solicit your opinion in public was never illegal in the United States?
Well, thanks very much for having me. I think you've put your finger right on the key issue, and the key issue is the freedom of speech, the freedom of thought, the right to assemble, all of those kinds of freedoms which are in the United States Constitution. The Trump administration and President Trump himself has repeatedly attacked our form of government in the United States. The separation of powers, the First Amendment, the rights to due process. And this is a pattern which is being extended to the question of immigration and visas, not just as a way in which to regulate immigration to the United States, but as a tool to suppress free speech in the U.S. So that's the context in which this must be understood. In Mr. Khalil's situation, it's particularly egregious because he holds a green card, which means he is lawfully admitted to the United States for the purpose of becoming a citizen. He is married to a U.S. citizen, and of course his son, born in the United States, is a U.S. citizen. So there is a repeated standing up by the judicial branch of the United States government to this kind of unlawful activity. The question is, of course, whether or not the standing up, which is taking place at a district court level, will be upheld when it gets to appeal into the Supreme Court. Their appointees by President Trump have much more sway, and the real question for the United States is, will the rule of law hold here? It is one thing to say we must build peace and prosperity internationally, which is the hallmark of a great democracy, but at the same time be trying to use various levers to change the rule of law in the United States. So it's a difficult situation here, but it is of a pattern the use of troops in terms of enforcement of immigration, the whole question of whether or not you have a right to habeas corpus, which is being able to bring a defendant before the court. So it is time for great democracies across the spectrum to stand up and try to ameliorate what President Trump is obviously doing to enhance a presidential rule by decree form of government.
Mr. Vickery, Donald Trump's approval ratings have slipped another 6 points. He was elected on two conditions. One is immigration, of course, and the second was the economy. But, the tariffs which have been thrown at the world have created economic instability. And secondly, law-abiding citizens are being arrested and cruelty is being enforced for expressing yourself on the streets of the United States. Do you think that this is perhaps not going to cease, and Donald Trump's approval ratings are going to dip further, and the people who voted for him are definitely in for more disappointment?
Well, I certainly think that that's a very, very strong possibility. We have two statewide elections taking place, one in Virginia, one in New Jersey this year, which will be a harbinger, I believe, of what will happen at the midterms. But the problem here is that President Trump does not have in mind an adherence to the constitutional values which have served this country well and the world well for over 250 years. He wants to change that. He wants to change it to a presidential rule by decree, authoritarian approach. So it's not the case that public opinion is going to sway him. The one saving grace is that President Trump has been known to change with the winds. The taco meme of Trump always chickens out on tariffs is shown somewhat in some of these other approaches to international affairs in Iran and so forth. But make no mistake about it that the overall thrust here is to change the form of government, to change our constitutional rights here. And as I said, great democracies, whether they be India, Europe, Japan, need to stand up and say this is not in accordance with basic human rights and basic tenets of democracy. Democracy is not one man, one vote, one time. It is rule of law. It is human rights. It's the right to be able to protest, to assemble. And it is outrageous. And the judge in this case has indicated for the Trump administration to try to use visas and immigration against what is otherwise lawfully and